Hi, everybody. I would like first to thank Sylvain Laurent for inviting me here. I'm very honored to be here in Korea for my second time and my first 3D Experience forum. The world is definitely a small place because I graduated from Virginia Tech in '96, so we didn't get a chance to meet, but anyway. And I would like also to thank all the Korean people who took care of me in the last 2 days. I met very professional people, very friendly people, and a special thanks to the Doosan team and to TH Kim. We had a great evening yesterday. So I'm here to talk about our PLM journey. I would say this is an exciting project, a very demanding project, sometimes a difficult one, but all the more it's a strategic project. And I think it's a strategic not only for PSA, but also for Da쏘sistemes. And I would also like to thank the Da쏘sistemes management, Bernard, René Lonegro, Jean-Marie Durand, Rémi Gonel, and so on, for supporting us in this very important project. To start with, a few figures about PSA. So our revenue is about 50 billion euros. We used to go through very difficult times in the last few years. And last year we finally recovered, so now we are back in the race. We sell about 3 million cars in the world. We used to be very dependent from the European market, so we still are number 2 largest European car maker. But our worldwide activities are increasing, especially in China, where we sold over 700,000 cars last year. I haven't seen that many Peugeots in Korea, by the way, or Citroen. So the good news is there is place for improvement. I don't have other phones, but if you want to buy one, just let me know. I will be happy to help you. We are a worldwide company, so we have over 180,000 people working throughout the world, mainly in France right now. But again, we are also spreading in China, in South America. So we tend to be a more global company every day. We have 3 brands. So the first one is Peugeot brand, and the second one is Citroen, and the third one, which you may not know about, is DS. So we just introduced the DS as a brand last year. It's very successful so far. And we have a clear, different positioning for the 3 brands. So the Peugeot is, as you say, motion and emotion. It's for demanding people, precise driving. Citroën is targeting simple, smart driving, useful technology, feel good. And the DS brand, the latest one, is our luxury brand. So it's the avant-garde spirit, a technical one also. But all the most, it's the luxe à la française, so our luxury brand. And by the way, I saw one DS outside the building just before coming, so I was very happy. So again, in Peugeot, a lot of emotion, a lot of passion, a lot of technique too, a lot of precision, and that's what we need in our PLM project. This is not only a technical project, or it's more than that. It's a combination of technology on one side and transformation on the other side. So that's why I put this definition for you. The whole thing about our project here is to align R&D processes with information system. We have a culture of lean product development. We have been collaborating with Toyota for the last 15 years, roughly. So we have introduced the lean in the manufacturing, but also in the R&D domain. And the whole thing is there to meet the 2 technologies. And let me tell you a story. In 2006, we had just introduced CATIA V5, and we were wondering what would be the next step. So we were using VPM V4 at that time. We are still using, by the way, before we moved to the new PLM platform. And we had no business case in just moving one data management to another. So I was working on this subject. And at the same time, the R&D was making an evaluation of its own efficiency. And it turned out that although all the people in the R&D were saying they were at the top level, globally, the R&D efficiency was, let's say, far behind our competitors. And at that time, we figured out about 15 levers we should work on. And I met the guy who was in charge of this transformation issue. And it turned out that we did consider that PLM was the lever that would help us to work on the 14 other levers. And that's how the whole story started back in 2009. So again, a long journey. And that's how we introduced the project. This is our project plan. So we started this plan in 2010. And 5 years later, we are almost on track on this plan. We have 6 months delay. And at that time, we planned to introduce a first pilot project in 2014. Actually, it was at the end of 2013. And we almost made it by 3 months. So 4 years ahead of the real schedule, we were planning something we are delivering right now, which is quite challenging. It's challenging because we've been through a preparation phase in order to figure out what would be the business case. Then we had 6 months of decision process, and we are now executing for the last 2 years. And the preparation phase was very important, and I would say the more you prepare, the better you execute, and it's probably why we are, let's say, successful so far, although we are not finished, but we are in good shape. Obviously, you need some strong business drivers in order to run such a project. So we figured out that we had 5 things we should focus on. First one is collaboration management. As I said, we are spreading throughout the world, and we need to collaborate not only within R&D, PSA R&D centers, but also with our suppliers, with our partners. We do partner with Toyota, Ford, and GM lately, and now Chinese partners. So this is an important thing for us. Sorry. Second, we said we need to focus on configuration management, because at some point when so many people are working on R&D in the R&D department, if they deliver things that do not match together, you are not efficient enough. So one of the key points in our PLM project is configuration management based on reliable processes. So take the picture of a factory. If you take the roof of the factory, you will see the line, and you will see how the car is building up. In the R&D domain, you take the roof of the R&D center, you don't see any line. So you need to figure out the processes. And that's why this combination of processes and information system is important to have a kind of reliable R&D delivery manufacturing center. Third one, which is quite important too, is system engineering. System engineering, functional architecture, modular policy, and reuse. To make money out of the car business, it's very important to reuse and to spread the use of parts throughout very long series. Fourth one is reliable monitoring. I guess this is the same in your companies. At PSAs, we have a lot of people just taking information from some places and trying to figure out how the thing is going. The bad thing about this is it costs a lot, first, and no sooner the report is delivered, it's already not up to date anymore because it's not connected to the real data. It's like monitoring a factory 1 or 2 days later, it's too late. This is a huge part of our business case, by the way. Fifth, we wanted to work on the extended enterprise, again, suppliers, joint ventures, and so on. This was our original plan back in 2010. I mentioned the processes, so the R&D went through a huge work on designing, redesigning their processes. And this has been delivered into what we call the engineering handbook. So this is actually a very, very thick book, 800 pages. But this is what we are building on. And this is really the glue that helps the R&D work together. And when I mean R&D, I mean extended R&D, I mean purchasing, I mean part of after sales, and so on and so forth. So we now have a process map. And the next thing was to map the IS application with these new processes. We did run quite a big project back in the late 90s, early 2000. It already was with Dassault Systèmes and IBM at that time, which was called Ingenium. And when we put the scope of this project on top of the new map, we figured out that it was focusing mainly on detailed design. But things had changed since the 2000 or late 90s years. So for instance, the car is having more and more electronical parts. We do focus now on functional design. So we needed, on one hand, we needed to extend the perimeter of this ecosystem. And on the other hand, we did figure out that we did have some system that were spread throughout the process map, but there was definitely place for improvement because we had place for better integration. We had break in the information flow, and we had in some places IS systems that were not aligned to processes. So we did figure out in the end that our PLM scope would be the complete R&D processes scope. And this is how we decided to keep running, experimenting on how we would deliver the whole thing. So this is now 2012. In 2012, we run first a request for information, request for quotation, and so on. In the end, the winner was Dassault Systèmes. I can tell you it was a tough competition, especially with PTC, but we are very happy in the end that we chose Dassault Systèmes. It was a kind of continuity compared to what we had before, and there are more challenges to come, so I'm sure this partnership will go on for a long time. Last, we did improve our business case, so we focused on some key points we needed to get benefit from the PLM. So margin was something very important. When we do the ramp up, we often are late, and we do need to put a lot of resources and money in these phases. Cost is an issue, obviously. I talked about project monitoring, talked about module reviews, and so on. So this is very important. Risk management, which is closely related to the system engineering stuff. And last but not least, quality. So this is a simplified map, obviously. The whole thing has been transformed into KPIs when it was possible, or when it was not, we still described what was our target. And part of these KPIs have been shared with Dassault Systèmes. So Dassault Systèmes has a financial interest in us being in good shape. And I think it's important in a partnership to have a risk-sharing partner in such an environment. By the way, I should say that at the time we started the project, we signed the project, our financial situation was very, very bad. And throughout the project, at some point the decision was reconsider whether we should go on or not. But we did stay committed to this project. And again, this is a strategic one for PSA. Last, so we had now engineering handbook processes. We had our IT target on the other hand. And last but not least, we had our information model. So when you think of, again, of a factory, you cannot run a factory without organizing things. This is the same for the R&D. So we figured out how we would manage the information we needed to manage, and how one would deliver the information in the PLM process line. This is important. This is very important because if you don't plan this early enough, when you are executing the project, it's too late. You have too many things to think about. To finish this preparation and decision phase, we organized the project in 3 phases. And the contract we have with Dassault Systèmes so far is addressing phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 is focusing on detailed design on one side, but the other thing is we want to integrate project management activity and collaboration and data configuration management activities. Phase 1, I would say, is more an evolution of what we have so far. Phase 2 is targeting the functional architecture, the requirement management on one side, and the V&V process, verify and validate process on the other side. So phase 2 for us is really a revolution. And I should say at this point that I think if we hadn't signed a contract with Dassault Systèmes, we wouldn't have been so fast on phase 2, even if it's sometimes we think it's too slow. And I think this is also challenging Dassault Systèmes on this domain, and they are evolving and making their product more performing in this domain. And I would say this kind of partnership is a catalyzer for both companies, I believe. So this one is one of our latest Citroen products, a breaking the code product, I would say. You've seen some keyword like simplicity, useful technology. I think this is also what we need in the PLM system. This slide is a bit complicated, so please don't go away. This is to say that in order to organize such a complex thing, we decided to split our PLM project into several groups of processes. So we have 7 groups of processes running on phase 1. So it's a big logistic because we want to deliver fast. On one hand, we want to have people working in parallel, and all the way down, we want the PLM system to work in the same environment. So to do this, you need, on one hand, a good organization, and on the other hand, having a partnership with Dassault Systèmes, we need to have strong connection with all the entire Dassault Systèmes organization. So we do have strong connection with R&D. We have an R&D center running, and we do have strong connection also with the service department. And again, this is a key for us to run such a large and demanding project fast enough. We also decided to introduce Agile Methodologies. So the point here is that we have a monthly sprint. So we are not running every month, by the way, but in phase 1 we will have at the end 9 sprints. And the key thing is to organize the whole project so that people understand the potential of the solution on PSA side. Dassault understand our processes on the other side. And in the end, at the end of the month, the thing is being delivered and put together. And I believe this one of the key for having a pilot project in about 1 year running. Here I want to give you a flavor of what we are doing. So I won't make a complete demonstration. But the thing is that we are really addressing the complete R&D process map. So as far as project management is concerned, we are delivering solutions for this activity. We do have a bill of material, and by the way, our goal, and we are doing it, is to take the bill of material very much earlier than we did before. And this is one of the key. One of the keys to have people work on the same thing. At the end, we deliver just one car, so there is no reason why the purchasing department should work on one BOM, the costing department should work on another. The whole idea is to have the different processes running through the same line again. We obviously deliver 3D capacities. So at this point, I should say, you have the 3D experience sign all over the place. To us, 3D is obvious. I mean, we've been using 3D for years. The thing is, it goes behind that, and I will come back to this point later on. We do have monitoring capacities, so whether they are integrated within Enovia, or we use Exalead as a way to gather information, analyze it, and deliver it to the people who need the correct information. And again, the key thing here is that we are measuring directly into the R&D production. We do use collaboration facilities, and the nice thing about the V6 here is that we can put information in the context of 3D. So whether you have weight information or cost information, you can put it on the 3D part and see, have you seen before, by the way, whether the part is as a right weight, is on target or not on target, and so on and so forth. So this is a quick summary of phase 1. We do have a costing module we are introducing and producing with da쏘시스템의. On phase 2, we have something that would be the equivalent of the bill of material for the system engineering. So we have what we call the bill of functions. And this bill of functions that you've seen here is being derived into requirements, functional and physical architecture, and at the end, we check the physical system against the requirements. And by the way, in the transformation process, we are defining rules, and in phase 2, there is a rule that says there shouldn't be any requirement that is not verifiable, which is a big change. So to us, the whole thing is to have to integrate, of course, to be lean. So again, the thing is the outcome, and the outcome is the physical car. So everything should come down to the car we are going to produce and the car we are going to sell. And to wrap it up, I would say that this project is about having a better digital experience, and I would say a continuous digital experience. And this is the key for high efficiency. I talked about the data model, so we don't have time to go into the details of the data model, but maybe one important point I would address is we have divided our data structure in 3 levels. One is the expected level, so this is what the customer, what the marketing is asking for, expecting. Second, we have the defined level, so this is what the R&D engineers are saying, how the product should look like in order to meet the marketing and the customer requirements. And last, we have the manufactured level. So this is what the real product will look like. And at each of these levels, we are connecting information to this level, whether it's requirements, definition, and whatever the definition would be. So it could be a MATLAB model, for instance, or it can be a 3D model, whatever. And all these information are packed into one single BOM, one single data structure, which is important because so far we do have DMU, so we do have VPM before, but engineering people are delivering outside of this VPM channel. So it's like having people in the plant putting the door somewhere and just leaving. If the door is not on the car, they don't care. So in the R&D domain, it was accepted so far, and we won't accept it anymore. So the thing is, we gather the information, we concentrate the information in one place, and from this single place, we have views, and we look at the same product from different point of views. And this is a kind of summary of what the whole thing is about. And the people, the chief engineer of the pilot project, we had a meeting, and I think you remember, Sylvain, you were there. We had a meeting in June last year, and he said the good thing about this is that we have moved from part management, part design, whether it's 2D or 3D, to product management. And this is what we are trying to show here. we are gathering all the information we need to gather around the product. Obviously, 3D is one of these information, but there is much more than 3D. And the whole information is packed in one place, accessible from this single source of truth. To finish the delivery, I would say that we have thousands of engineers working on our current systems, and in the car industry, we do platforming. So we have tens of projects sharing the same platform and sharing parts together. So we cannot afford to have a big bang deployment. This is just impossible. So we have worked a lot with Dassault on a mechanism that would secure our customers, our R&D customers, in order for them to smoothly switch from the current platform to the next platform. And this goes back and forth. So a project that will be engineered in the PLM environment can be viewed in the current environment. And the other way around, new parts that are still being delivered or enhanced in the VPM, V4 environment, for instance, can also be used in the PLM environment. This is one key point. The other key point is that we are integrating not only Dassault system solutions, but we are also integrating our own systems. And in the R&D, there are much more than 50 systems, but there are 50 key systems that we are either replacing or integrating, and we are doing it within 3 years, which for us is a big challenge. As far as the project plan is going, so we are here. We have a key milestone in June, because we just started a new car project, and this car project started in the PLM. So the PLM project is a bit ahead of the car project, but in June we are going to make the final delivery, almost the final delivery on phase 1, and these are key functions for the car project to work, and we will introduce. This is our target. We will introduce V6 design in August, September this year. On phase 2, we are starting, and our plan is to have the phase 2 finished by June 2016. So avant-garde, I hope this is what our PLM is about, and it will remain so. To conclude with, I would like to share with you a few lessons learned. First one, for such a strategic, important project, you should choose a partner you rely in, and we do rely in Dassault Systèmes. As our president would say, do challenge your partner. It's a form of respect, and we have a lot of respect for Dassault Systèmes. And have an efficient governance. Again, you may use this kind of project as a catalyzer on both sides. Deploy securely, but deploy fast. This is all about change management, so you need to find the right positioning. Be strong when it comes to money time. So we are in money time right now. We are delivering for the car project. So this is the key time. Build on successes. So these projects are very demanding, energy consuming. So you need to show progresses. And also you need to demonstrate that the business case you've built your project on is reliable. So you need at some point to get your return on investment. Prepare for the next steps. I'm sure there are more opportunities to come. I didn't talk about Delmia, but we are using Delmia, so far Delmia V5. We are using the 3DEXPERIENCE site, so we are a Deltasian customer. So I'm sure there are opportunities for better integration, but again, we will need some time first to finish our current plan. And to conclude with, I would say that PLM processes and technologies I'm sure, a competitive advantage, provided you have people that understand them and that are able to put it in place and use them. So, thank you, Kamsamida. Mr. Charles, I was told you are a big DS fan, so this bill is for you.